Hi guys, Jasmine here. In this video I am going to share with you 5 simple things to expect if you're going to become a social worker. These are things that I didn't necessarily anticipate before I became a social worker, but they've tended to come up for me quite a bit. So yeah, I thought I'll share it with you. If you're new to my channel, I'm a practicing social worker and I share my experiences on my channel. Definitely subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, let's get right into the video. So the first thing that I'm going to share is chances are you probably will cry with a client. I didn't really expect it. You know, sometimes you just think that you don't really have any sort of connection or anything like that to this person in any way, so you don't expect that you will cry, but sometimes it does happen. And I mean, it needs to be managed, obviously. It's not where you're bawling like that, but like you will get a little bit teary, and it's okay to acknowledge that and just say, you know, that actually really touched me or whatever. And if you feel like it's getting unbearable, then you might need to get out of the room for a minute or so and then come back in, because you don't want to end up being more overwhelmed than the client, because that's generally not very helpful. But chances are that would happen. The second point is you probably will have days where you hate your job. Sometimes you can get very overwhelmed and you just think about, fuck this, I'm not even getting enough money to do this shit. So yeah, you probably will have days like that. It can be very exhausting, can be very difficult, especially when you don't work in a very supportive environment. So be ready for that. This is starting to sound very negative, but you know, there are some positive sides to it. The third point is you probably will get to a point where you're doing certain things just to tick a box. You know, with eligibility criteria, with strict guidelines and things like that, sometimes you need to do what you have to do. You know, a lot of the time our intention is to make sure our clients are getting the most out of the service that's being provided to them, but because of the system and the way it looks like, sometimes you've got to bend the rules a little bit. Sometimes you might do things not necessarily because you think it's beneficial, but just because you need to tick a certain box so you can get the client onto a better support, or you know, access a better service or something like that. So you might do something just to tick a box and just to say I've done it, just for the sake of saying that I've done it and it's done, and you know, you asked for it, so it's done. My next point is you probably will have clients that you don't necessarily enjoy working with. Sometimes clients might have completely different personalities that you might not be used to, or they might just be very overwhelming, or they might just be very draining, or just very difficult to deal with. And yeah, sometimes you might have one of those clients and you know, you keep putting off the phone call that you need to make to them, or every time they come up on the calendar you're like, oh, not you again. Like, yeah, chances are that will happen. You know, you're not going to like every single client that you work with, but that's just something that you have to deal with. And you know, if things like that come up, you need to manage it with your supervisor or whatever that looks like, so that you're not letting the way you feel about this client get in the way of the work that you're able to give to them. The final point is a little more positive, I guess. You probably will have a client that you would like to be friends with, or you would wish that you had met them outside of work. That is very likely to come up. I think some of the clients are great and you just get along with them so well, like they have a great sense of humor, or their humor is similar to the way you find things funny or whatever, or you know, you have a similar birthday and they're just really lovely and sweet or whatever, and you're like, oh damn, I wish I had met you at a bar or at like a friend's party or something like that. Now that I've met you at work, there's no chance in hell that we can be friends. So yeah, but like that sometimes happen. It has happened for me a couple of times. So yeah, I just thought I'd acknowledge that and share it with you guys. So yeah, if you're already a practicing social worker, is there something that you didn't really expect to happen in your work that is happening for you at the moment? I'd love to know. Definitely let me know in the comment section below. If there's any points that you found interesting that you're already sort of expecting to experience when you become a social worker as well, let me know in the comment section below, and I'd love to know. I said in my previous video that my goal this year is to reach 10,000 subscribers. I don't think it's impossible, so help me get there by sharing this video with a friend. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and subscribe if you haven't already. I shall see you in my next video. Take care, guys. Bye.